Welcome back to First Verse with Steve and Marissa
Woo.
as we enjoy our banana nut chocolate bread without the nuts, actually. My favorite kind. Thank you, by the way, to whomever that is.
We're in Numbers chapter 20. This section is called The New Generation, Water from the Rock. Verse 1. In the first month, the whole Israelite community arrived at the desert of Sin, and they stayed at Kadesh. There, Miriam died and was buried. Now there was no water for the community. Is it bad that, you would, I feel like there would be some kind of eulogy or something like,
Something like, hey,
she was a great contribution. Or, it's just one sentence.
yeah, there seems like
Then Miriam died and was buried.
there seems to be a little bit more
Maybe we're just reading
description
too much in it. Yeah.
in when other people die.
Mm-hmm.
Not always, though. Not always,
Sure.
though. I think of some parts in First Kings and Second Kings. It's like, well, so and so died, and then this happened. It's like, wait a second.
Now there was no water for the community, and the people gathered in opposition to Moses and Aaron. They quarreled with Moses and said, "If only we had died when our brothers fell dead before the Lord." Good. Can they just quit with their complaints?
They're very stiff-necked,
Do you
stubborn
want another
people.
40 years?
Yeah, how long do y'all want to stay out here?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Moses and Aaron saw this coming a mile away. They're just like, oh, look.
How long do you think it's going to be before
3,
they complain again?
2, 1. Moses and Aaron!
All right, you owe me $5.
Oh, well. You owe me 50 shekels on this one.
Yeah. Verse 4. Why did you bring the Lord's community into this desert, that we and our livestock should die here? Why did you bring us up out of Egypt to this terrible place? It is no grain or figs, grapevines, or pomegranates. And there is no water to drink. Moses and Aaron went from the assembly to the entrance of the tent of meeting and fell face down, and the glory of the Lord appeared to them. The Lord said to Moses, "Take the staff, you and your brother Aaron, gather the assembly together, speak to that rock before their eyes, and it will pour out its water. You will bring water out of the rock for the community so they and their livestock can drink." So, if I'm understanding this correctly, he just spoke to the rock. Like, he didn't hit it with the staff or anything, right?
From my understanding, or if memory serves me correct, this is the one where he strikes the rock. Okay. The second time this happens later on, he's instructed to speak to the rock, and Moses gets mad and strikes the rock instead. So I think this is the first time where he strikes it.
Oh, so it hasn't, this is just God telling him instructions.
Yeah.
Okay. Verse 9. So Moses took the staff from the Lord's presence, just as he had commanded him. He and Aaron gathered the assembly together in front of the rock, and Moses said to them, "Listen, you rebels."
Listen, you rebels.
Must we bring you water out of this rock? Then Moses raised his arm and struck the rock twice with his staff. Water gushed out, and the community and their livestock drank. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Because you did not trust in me enough to honor me as holy in the sight of the Israelites, you will not bring this community into the land I give them."
Interesting.
Because if I'm looking at this correctly, he told Moses to speak to the rock.
Hang on a second.
Not hit it.
Hang on a second. Then the Lord, verse 7, then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Take the rod, you and your brother Aaron and his congregation there, speak to the rock before their eyes, and it will yield its water." I thought, where's the part where he strikes the rock? So I'm pretty sure he strikes it once.
Because mine's saying he struck it twice.
Maybe I'm just completely misremembering all of this. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, take the rod. All right, verse 7. Okay, take verse 8. Speak to the rock. Take the rod and your brother Aaron and gather to the congregation together. Speak to the rock before their eyes, and it will yield its water. Thus you shall bring the rock from it. Moses took the rod as the Lord commanded him. Well, he didn't command this other part. And Moses and Aaron gathered assembly together. Hey. Then Moses lifted his hand and struck the rock twice. Interesting. Yeah. Let's what?
My note.
So what's your note
The
say?
Lord said, or the Lord had told Moses to speak to the rock. However, Moses struck it not once but twice. God still did the miracle, yet Moses was taking credit for it when he said, we bring you water out of this rock.
Ooh.
Oh, so that's like an added disrespect.
Okay, then.
Not giving credit where credit is
Must
due.
we bring you water out of this rock? Yeah, that's what they said in for verse 10. Okay, let's break there
So
for
I
a second.
guess Moses and Aaron were still on some level going to be part of the promised land until this point of disobedience. Dude.
Okay. And came the children of it. Let's see.
And then it says the waters of the rock in verse 13. These were the waters of Meribah, where the Israelites quarreled with the Lord and where he showed himself holy among them. So let's take a moment to look at any other notes that look significant.
The rock in Rephidim. All right, so
Dude.
Exodus 17:6.
He was so close to the... Okay, so my note on chapter 20, verse 1. It had been 37 years since the spy mission into the promised land.
Oh,
they were 3 years away from the promised land, and Moses goes and does something dumb like this. He was 3 years away.
He got casual.
Dude.
Let's see, Exodus 17.
It says the Bible's virtually silent about those 30 years or 37 years of aimless wandering. The generation of those who had lived in Egypt had almost died off, and the new generation would soon be ready to enter the land. Moses, Aaron, Joshua, and Caleb were among the few who remained from those who left Egypt. Once again, they camped at Kadesh, the site of the first spy mission that had ended in disaster. Moses hoped the people were ready for a fresh start.
All right, I'm in Exodus 17. So we had done this. We had read through this months ago. But the people thirst. Exodus 17, 3. But the people thirsted there for water, and the people murmured against Moses, saying, why is it that you have brought us up against Egypt to kill us and our children and our livestock with thirst? So this is the old generation saying it. Then Moses cried out to the Lord, saying, what shall I do with these people? They're about ready to stone me. Then the Lord said to Moses, pass over the people, take with you some elders of Israel, and take with your hand the rod in which you struck the Nile, and go. Indeed, I will stand before you there on the rock in Horeb, and you shall strike the rock, and there water shall come out of it, and the people shall drink. Okay, so they stuck. He struck. Okay, so I did remember correctly. That's great. So Moses did strike the rock at first with the older, more stiff-necked generation. Now this generation is just as stiff-necked, but they've got a little bit more. They look up to Moses a little bit more.
Yeah.
We'll just say that.
But they also blamed Moses for their condition
Yeah,
of
well,
not having water.
they're still a stiff-necked people.
They didn't realize that it was their own disobedience.
So here's what Pastor Darrell told me a long time ago. This is one of the things I love about Pastor Darrell. He sees things that the Bible doesn't outright say. So the first time Moses struck the rock, because the people needed to see a miracle be done.
Mm-hmm.
The second time,
Yeah.
he was told to speak to the rock. Where else are we told to speak to the rock?
To the mountain.
Yes. Do you know what Bible verse that is?
The Bible confirms itself.
Open your Bibles to Mark 11:24. I encourage you to highlight this part of your Bible. Highlight 23. Just highlight like all of 23 to 26. But Mark 11:22. Jesus answered them, "Have faith in God, for truly I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, this rock, this impossibility, be removed and thrown into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes what he says will come to pass, he will have whatever." Maybe I need to say that in Spanish. Whatever, eh? No?
No.
Okay. How many different languages must this be translated? And he will have whatever, whatever he says. Your faith is fully dependent on what comes out of your mouth. Oh, this is great. Okay. I didn't misremember anything, and we're already off to a great start.
Yeah, so it was his disobedience of not speaking to the rock like he was supposed to. Like that was going to be the greater miracle of him not even using the staff, because they all knew about his staff. They all knew the history. They knew about the Passover. Like they knew the power of God was in his staff. It would have been a different thing for them to witness the power of God in his voice.
Yes. Yes, and this would have changed everything for the Israelites at the time.
And then it speaks to the life and death of the tongue. Like we speak life, we speak death. They were speaking literal death because they were saying, if only we had died when our brothers fell before the Lord.
Yeah.
They were speaking death over themselves. So if Moses had just spoke life into the rock instead of hitting it like a dummy, he wouldn't have cost himself entry into the promised land, and he would have given fresh life, not just fresh water, but fresh life into these people.
Living water.
Who were so ready to just give up, even though they were so close to the promised land. Like that, to me, that's the significance of his disobedience is he didn't speak life, literal life into the rock.
Yep.
Like, there's only so much you can do with people speaking death if you yourself can't speak life.
Bingo. But hey, you got to get going.
Yeah. Do we want to just make this a two-parter? Because this was a very interesting...
Very poignant, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll finish up with some notes. But if you want to shimmy out. So, Marissa made a very interesting point before she left. She said, I wonder how much we let our anger dictate our destiny. Now, she didn't say that nearly as eloquently, but think of it for a second. How many times have we let our anger write our future? Because, I mean, they were 2.5 years away from getting to the promised land. And Moses said, "Hear now, you rebels," in verse 10. See what he says in the other translations. Same thing. Numbers 20. Moses and Aaron, some of the people came together at the rock. He said, listen, yeah. He basically says the same thing in every one of them. Listen, you rebels. And they were being that. But he was also joining in because he was letting his anger get the best of him. He let his anger out before he let his faith out. And it cost him dearly. So I'm not asking you to think back on all the times where you have absolutely screwed up. Because there's been many of those, I'm sure. I'm asking you to rewrite your new future. All the times where you could possibly screw up. You know, we were watching Star Trek 2009, the one with Chris Pine in it, and there's a time travel aspect there. It's where, where future Spock, played by Leonard Nimoy, meets the younger Spock. And I remember seeing that in theaters in 2009 and thinking, what if my older version of me were to step out and meet me? What conversations would be said? Because when old Spock meets new Spock, he basically doesn't tell him that much because he didn't want to screw up his life or anything, but he gives him some words of wisdom to live by. And but it's like a shortcut almost. And it's not like a shortcut of, hey, you'll get rich if you do this, or you'll gain more status in your career if you do life like this. It's basically letting him know of the shortcomings that he didn't fully figure out until his older age. How many times have we looked back in your current life right now? How many times have you looked back and said, you know what, I really wish I would have handled that a little bit differently? Or now that I'm a little bit older and seasoned, I see the world through a different lens. Everything's not, or everything seems to be more clearer when you get older, because you look back and you don't have blood pumping through your veins, hot blood pumping through your veins. I shouldn't have gotten a fight there, or I should have spoke kindly here, or you know what, I really should have made this decision to stay over here, or this decision to just cut and run over here. What would your older self say to your younger self, to your present self? Would they say, hey, you figured it out, good job? Or would they tell you something differently? Would they say, hey, if only I did this differently, if only I got a hold of my temper earlier, if only we figured out this sooner. So I want you, if you're still here, looking back on what you've accomplished in the past, let's just say 20 years, and seeing the progression that you've made, is it possible to have a moment with the Lord, which it is possible, and say, Lord, show me where the weak places are. Show me where the places where I need to speak to rocks and I've been hitting them. I've been kicking rocks more than I've been speaking to them. Lord, show me those places in my life. And I know that if I could have a conversation with my future self, it would be da 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 da. Because that's how we have a conversation with our future self, is we do it through the Lord. There are times where I have let my tongue get the best of me. But seeing this, seeing the promises that Moses had to forfeit because he didn't get his anger under control, is convicting. It's when you become so mad that you become the thing you're trying to actively go against. And he became a rebel to the Lord because he was fighting rebels unto the Lord. And this this is just an old anger issue that he never truly put under the blood. But the greatest part about it is that God still used him. And he can still use you too. And with that, I'll break. We'll do the rest of chapter 20 later on. We love you. There's nothing you can do about it.